Hello guys, welcome back to the sixth video of Chrome extension tutorial. In this part, we are going to implement this to-do section. Okay, so this can be a standalone project as well, just to create a get an idea of how to get a to-do application with the Chrome Storage API. But we are doing this as a whole project, like a clone of Momentum. We have given our name like Gravity. So we are going to handle this area. Okay, so here we have an input box called any plan to work. I'm going to give something like nope, and I'm going to give my to-dos like something like this. Once I click on that, of course it should disappear. Okay, and of course we are using the Chrome Storage API, so that means even if we click on a new tab, the data will be persistence, and even if we relaunch the browser, of course it will be there. Okay, so let's see how to do that. And I'm going to delete all my existing code, and then I'm going to start it from the fresh. Okay, let's start. So first of all, within the service folder, I have created a file called todo.js, which is empty as of now, but I have included that within the script tag. And also here we have a section with the to-do of this one, right? So this to-do I have added here. I mean this input box with the ID called to-do. So first thing what we are going to do is whatever the value we are going to get, we are going to show that in the display. Okay, so for that already we have this code, this one, right? So I'm going to copy this one, this entire thing, and I'm going to paste it. I'm going to remove all the unnecessary code here. Okay, so here we have the value called to do as an ID, and whenever we give the enter, that is going to find and we'll get the value and we'll store that value, right? We have to add that in the to do. So I will say like add to do. This function we are going to create, of course, now, and here we are going to value like to do this one. So the to do is nothing but my actual value, whatever I'm going to enter. Now let's create a function called add to do, and of course we know like we are going to get the to do item, and here we have to get the value and we have to store it. So already we know like from the event we can get the current target and we will get the value. We are passing that value to this function. Within this function we are going to write the Chrome storage API, right? So let's say Chrome dot storage dot local dot set, and here I have to give my key, right? So key is nothing but a key, and value is like whatever I'm going to get. So that's going to be to do item, right? So whatever the value we are going to get, we are going to set it here, and let's call it like to do key. Okay, yeah. So fine, we have added the value. Once we add the value, of course we have to display that, right? So let's say that I'm going to type something like this, and when I hit enter, that should come here. I'm going to display that within a list so that I will get like each and every to do line by line. So I'm going to refer the Bulma document here. Let's go to the documentation part very quickly. And if I go within the forms, within the checkbox, and this is my code, so I'm going to grab it. And here I'm going to build the UI. Okay, so let UI equal to backticks, and I'm going to paste it. And instead of this, I'm going to pass the to do item that I'm going to get. Okay, so that's it, very simple code, but of course we want this within the li, so that I will get in the format of list. So I'm going to add a list here, li basically, and here the closing of li. Let's go to our index.html. Here we are getting the control, right? So after this input box, like this is my input box. Within this I'm going to create a div.block, and here I'm going to have my unordered list first, then I will add it. Okay, and to this unordered list I'm going to give an id called to do section, so that it will be easier for me to add to this unordered list. So basically the HTML structure will be like ul, within the ul we'll get the li, right? So that is what we are trying to do here. Let's go to the true.js, and here I'm going to say like this guy, the jQuery, and I'm going to say like id of to do section, and then I'm going to say like append, and here I'm going to give my UI. Already we have talked about this append function in the name.js itself, so I think you remember all this. Okay, or else you can refer the playlist anytime. Okay, so we have got the to do and we have added that in the list as well. Let's see it's working or not. So I'm going to refresh this page, and here I'm going to say like to do one, and I'm going to give enter, And here is the beauty, we are able to see that here, right? But I want this to be in the center. We can do that easily, just a matter of what we call that, css, right? So here I'm going to say like this classes I want, so I'm going to give this classes, and I'm going to close one div, and I'm going to close one more div, and then I will just move this guy within this one. Okay, that's it, very cool. Now let's go and refresh, and let's add something, and yeah, we are able to get it. If you want to set it little to the right, you can set it, probably you can use like ml-6, that means um, margin of left. Okay, so here let's refresh and let's add something, and you can see we got the spaces. Okay, that's it, very simple, neat and clean. And just to give it more nice look, we'll add some spaces so that it won't be collapsed with each other. But the problem here is, you can see like when I do the refresh, the older values are getting erased, right? So we have to get the values which is already there. So for that, we are going to write one more function called get all to dos. Okay, and this is going to be my function, so let's name it. And we have to get all the functions in the prayer in the first time itself, right? But in the first time when we install the application for the first time, of course there won't be anything, so it won't really create a UI when we enter this one, right? So when we enter the to do, next time the get all to dos will called, so we'll get all the existing value. Okay, and one more thing, if you notice, when we type and enter, it's getting appended, but the text box is still there with the value. So I'm going to clear it. That's going to be very simple. We'll focus on this and we'll just mark the value as empty. Okay, so let's go and give it a try. So I'm going to enter something and hit enter. You can see the text box is clear, the value is added. Now we have to get all the to-dos. We have to get all the to-dos. How to get? Very simple. We are going to use the same Chrome storage API. So Chrome dot storage dot local dot get. Here, if you see, this is my key, right? This is my key and this is my value. So when I say to do dot key here, if I pass it, what will happen? Only one value will be added, right? So for example, if I add one more, and if I keep on adding like this, all the values, previous values will be erased, because we are setting in the same to do key, same key should be unique, right? So that is how we have to fetch the data. But here, while adding, what we are trying to do is we are trying to add in the same key. That means the what we call that. Okay, let me console log and show you, right? So here I can say like console dot log, and okay, I can console log here actually. So true dot get, we will get the value, and then what we'll do, we'll get the item from here, and then I can log that item, right? Item dot key, and also I will get like item dot value. Okay, now let's go and refresh this, and if I go to the console, you can see that we are getting a lot of object. This is actually not done. To do key is not defined. It says to do key is not defined. Where is to do key? Okay, this should be actually within the string, right? Let's refresh. Okay, I'm going to disable the breakpoints. Yeah, let's go to the console. Here you can see like undefined. We are getting undefined because we didn't set anything. Is it so? Yeah, let's add it one more time and let's refresh. Still we are getting undefined. Why? This is my key. I'm setting the value, and then I'm trying to get the key, and then okay, let's print this item alone. Let's see what we are going to get. Let's refresh. Yeah, so here you can see like we are getting the to do key. Okay, this is basically an object with key and value. So this is I'm getting to do key. Right now, next time if I give my name like Kaushik and hit enter, if I refresh, you can see the value is getting changed, but the key remains same, right? So let me add one more thing like LetCode, and let's refresh, and here you can see the value is getting changed, but the key remains same. So that means it will erase the previous one. It's kind of like map. If you remember in the map video, I said that key will be always unique and the value can be different. So the latest value will update to the same key, right? So that is what happening exactly here. So while adding, we have to do it dynamic. Now, how we make dynamic in the sense like we can use the current date and timestamp, or else we can also use something like UUID. Okay, so I'm going to show that JS UUID v4. For that, we have some npm package, but I'm going to use some code from here. Okay, so this basically generates the UID. Okay, so UID is something like you can assume like it's just a random. It's going to give some random number with some kind of format, basically like this one. So this is the UID format. Okay, so this will be unique actually. Okay, so this to do key should be dynamic. So how we do that? Let's say like const. I'm going to say like I'm going to get a key from this UUID v4, but if I try to set the key here, that will not work, right? Because this is of type key within this object. So how do I make it dynamic? Like whatever I'm going to get it from here, if I try to copy this function and paste over here, that will not work. That will not allow me actually, right? Because this is an object. So how we do is very simple. We can enclose that within the square bracket. Now if I click on this key, you can see it is taking me to this key. Okay, that means this is actually destructure in destructuring concept in JavaScript. Probably in the next video I will try to explain it more. This is one of the very good feature in JavaScript. I will talk about it. As of now, what you have to understand is within the object, if you want to set a dynamic or parameterized key, then we have to set the key within the square bracket. Okay, since we got this key, now let's go and add few values. Okay, I'm going to refresh the page and I'm going to add something like this one, and I'm going to add one more key as well. Okay, now let's go and refresh. Now if you see, we have this to do key. Okay, we have this to do key because we are trying to get only the to do key. So how do we get all the to do key? Because we are setting it in the dynamic, then of course I don't have anything to get it here as a dynamic, right? So what can I do is I can get the null values. That means it will try to return me all the items. Okay, it will try to return me all the items. Let's go and refresh one more time. And here you can see we got all the items. Like here I have like multiple keys with multiple values, and here name is Kaushik, to do key is LetCode. Like that, we are getting a lot of things here. Okay, so what I'm trying to say basically, if you want to get all the values from a Chrome storage, you have to use the null here. Okay, yeah, so now what we'll do, we'll use the same concept. We'll just we'll grab this, we'll paste it here, and then instead of this to do item, this is the item, right? So here we'll get a format like this is my item dot key and this is my item dot value. So I'm going to give like item dot value. Okay, now let's go and refresh this page, and here I'm getting undefined. That's a bad sign actually. Yeah, that's a bad sign because I cannot directly do this because this is basically my object. So we have to loop through each and everything, right? Let's do that. That's going to be very simple. Don't worry, my friend. So I'm going to use the same the destructuring concept here. I will try to make it a very good video on this in the next video. Object.entry. So entries basically we have already learned in our array concept. So probably I will leave a link in the card. You can check that video. Okay, so here that's it. So I'm going to bring this here, and here I'm going to say like item dot value. Okay, that should be not item, only value. Okay, now let's go and refresh, and here you can see we are getting a lot of things, right? We got all the values. So now instead of getting one object, we are trying to get all this in the for loop. Okay, so that's it, very simple. We have a code to store the value and also to retrieve the value. Now the thing we have to focus is how to delete, right? So I'm going to create a one more function called delete. So function remove, and when we have to delete, in the sense, of course we have to pass the Chrome storage key, right? So I have to delete based on the key. Value can be dynamic, I know. Value can be repeated, I know, but I have to find. For example, here I have to do one, right? So I have to do one, I can give to do one again. That should allow, because this is my value and value can be duplicate, but key is going to be unique. So I have to pass based on the to do key, right? So I have to delete based on the to do key, that is item key. But here is the again the same question, how we will get the item key. So what I'm going to do is, whenever I'm going to set the value, right, I'm going to set the value, I'm also going to get the I'm also going to get the I'm also going to set the item key. So here we know that we already getting the key. So what can I do is I can simply say like id equal to, and I can use this to set my key, right? So I'm going to set my key here. Okay, so whenever I click on this li, that means of course whenever I click on this input type checkbox also, that should that will set the key, and based on the key I'm going to delete it. So let me show you. Okay, it's going to be very simple, my friend. So here I'm going to say chrome dot storage dot local dot remove, and here I have to get the item key basically, right? So how do we delete it? Of course I have to pass the item key, that is fine, and this will return me a callback function. So within the callback function I can say like my value, that is li, and okay, this should be within the backticks. So li hash, and the id is basically this item key dot remove. Don't get confused, I will debug and show you. Okay, let's check first it's working or not. So I'm going to refresh, I'm going to click on this guy. Okay, nothing is happening as of now. Let's go and check. Okay, I got the point. Let's go and inspect. If you see here within the li, I don't have any id. These are my existing value. Okay, that is the reason this is my existing value. If I try to add a new value, let's say that Kaushik new, something like that, and if I go and inspect this one, now you can see like we got this id. This is my uuid version 4. Okay, now if I click on this, again we got some problem. So you can see this is the value. I clicked on this but nothing happened because we didn't add the listener yet. Oh my friend. Okay, so I'm going to add one more listener here, and here I'm going to say like I know that's an input which has a type called checkbox. Okay, I have to give some like type equal to checkbox. Yeah, correct. Okay, and I should listen to the whole body so that I can capture the event correctly. So body on, and then I can going to select on click. So on the body will trigger the click event, but of course not on the whole body, on this particular element. And when this is going to happen, I will get a callback with the element itself. Now what can I do is I can extract the value. Okay, so it will be like const item to remove equal to element dot current value, right? So element dot current target dot attributes. We'll get the attributes, actually we'll get the attributes dot id dot value. Okay, and then we'll call our function called remove to do, and we'll pass this as a key. Okay, I'll show you. I will debug and show you. Okay, let me go and refresh. Okay, let's go, and here this is the value I added. Once I click on this, okay, here we are getting some error. Okay, what is the error? Let's go and debug here one more time. Current target is there, attributes is there. Okay, I'm getting till this. Let's go and inspect. So element dot current target is my input. Okay, actually I have clicked on this input, so basically this doesn't have any of the id, so that is the reason. Let me click on this li. Then if you see here, we are getting the value rv. Okay, this also returning me the input itself. So what I'm going to do is, instead of li, I'm going to set the key here as well. Okay, so this one id equal to key, I'm going to pass it here, and while adding also I'll pass it here. Okay, cool. Now let's go and refresh. I'm going to add a new to do, and if I click on this, that should disappear. Wow, Congratulations, we have done this absolutely correct. Okay, now we got a new one, right? So I'm going to give my name as a Kaushik, and it says like, hey Kaushik, and here I'm going to pass my to do 1, enter, then to do 2, enter, and if I click on this to do 2, that should disappear, to do 1, that should disappear. If I refresh, nothing should come, but Kaushik is coming. Any guess why this Kaushik is coming? Like here also we have given this Kaushik and it's coming here, but this is not a part of to do. Why this is happening in the sense, what we are trying to do, we are trying to get all this value. If you remember, in our name.js also we have set the value which is in the Chrome memory with the key called name. That is the reason I'm getting that in this particular area as well. So what can I do? Of course I can write a if condition, right? So here I can say like, if the key it's not equal to name, then I want to perform this particular action. I'll just move it within the condition. Okay, now let's go and refresh. Okay, now you can see this has got disappear. Let's test one more time. Okay, I can get this and I can remove this. That's fine, working fine, right? Okay, the code is very simple. Let me tell you whatever the concept, you might be a little confused here. Okay, so let's go and add one more to do here. I'm going to inspect this. See, while we are adding a locator id value to it, the unique id value to the li as well as here as well. Why here and here? In the sense, based on this, so whenever we click on the checkbox, we'll get the id value. Based on the id value, we are going to remove. So if you see in the remove to do, here we are focusing on the li, not this particular input, but we are focusing on the li of that current id, right? So if I click on this, I will get this id value. Based on that, I'm building a css locator with this li, and I'm removing this. Of course I can remove this itself directly, but why I'm removing the li itself means, here you can see like the li also has some spaces. So to remove that entire list, not only the input box, I'm going to remove the entire li. That is the reason I have added here as well. So based on this, we are trying to remove. That is the simple concept you have to understand. Okay, so once I click on this, of course it's going to be disappeared. That's it. We are pretty much done with our entire Gravity Chrome extension. Okay, so first we have a get all to dos. So when we do for the first time, let's see whether it's working fine or not without any error. So I'm going to remove it. That means the Chrome storage will be clear now. There won't be any values. I'm going to unpack that, the first one. Now let's open a new tab. Here you can see like we are getting this Konhotum. So I'm going to give my name, and that is fine. Of course you can do the decoration. I will leave that up to you. And any plan to work? Not of now, as of now. Nope. And then I'm going to say like make videos, learn editing, post, drink water, something like that. Okay, so drink water. Yeah, so here you can see we are getting, of course you can do the decoration, you can color it, that should work fine. I'm not going to touch it as of now, maybe in next video. So this is fine, right? Now let's go and open a new tab. So here you can see my name is there. Name is not reflecting here because we have a if condition to handle that. If the key is going to be name, then I'm not going to show that particular thing. Okay, and if I click on this drink water, I have assumed that I have drank water. I'm going to click on this. That should remove this one, but it didn't remove. Let's go and refresh. Yeah, it got removed now. So what is the problem? There should be some kind of problem, I think. Let's go and inspect, and let's go to the console. Okay, I'm not seeing any error actually, but why it's not removing? Let's go to the remove function. Okay, so this is the thing actually. Let's go and click one more time. So I'm going to click on this make videos. Here we are getting the value as well, so that's fine. So we got this particular thing, right? So let's go and print it in the console. Yeah, so this is the value. And now if I go to my li, like if li then followed by this id, in the console actually it's not showing, but it will be there in the code. Okay, so you can get it from the document.query selector. So here you can see, you can find that, right? Actually, this li doesn't have that one. That is the problem. So it didn't add to the li. Okay, I found it. The code is fine. Actually, here while we are adding, we are not adding to the id. So let's go to the add to do. Yeah, so here we have this add to do. Actually, we have this key, but why it's not getting added? Okay. Get all to dos. Let's do it. All to dos. Yeah, in the all to dos also we have to add that ID, right? So that then only it will disappear. It will display, right? So correct. So here I will add that one as well. Okay. Now final test. I believe it should work. Yeah, it's working. Okay, so to do one, to do. Okay, let's remove one by one. Yeah, it should work fine. Okay, so what mistake I did is basically here also I have to add so that the key will be reflected there, because based on the key only we are trying to do the remove. Okay, so fine, we have tested it and it's working fine. I'm not going to do anything. I think this is very big tutorial. Yeah, it's almost like 30 minutes. Okay, so just to clear it up, close this thing, because adding the icons to the extension and publishing in the Chrome extension will be really easy. I'm not going to touch that. If you really wanted to learn that as well, do let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to get one more section, but officially this is the last video of our Gravity Chrome extension tutorial. Okay, so here what are the things we have done? Basically we learned how to get a dynamic image, the background with the Pixabay API, and also we have learned few things in the jQuery like append of the key event listener, the remove function. Okay, and mostly the Chrome storage API. I think you got a really good idea with the help of this to do application. And also we learned this codes, the geolocation. So a lot of learning in this particular entire playlist. If you are watching this from the first, I think definitely you can create the same and you can upload in the Chrome extension and you send me the link. I will install in my system definitely. Okay, all the source code you can find it on my GitHub repository. I haven't created the repository, but I will upload the code and I will share the link in the uh, description. You can find it from there. If you have any queries, feel free to ask me and join our Discord channel. If you have any doubt, you can join here. Link will be again in the description. You can find it. You can join and try to, if you wanted to know anything about the Chrome extension, you can ask me. Probably I will do my best to help you. Okay, so that's it for this video. I think you have enjoyed this. Not sure about you, but definitely I have enjoyed while creating this tutorial. So yeah, it's a great learning for me as well. So that's it from my side. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next project very soon. Tada, bye bye, take care.